Even if a ghost town is nothing more than a few old houses, you can usually find them. Most of them still hold a place on a map. Shaniko does. But you have to know about Rajneeshpuram to find it. Tonight, photographer Bill Getz and I will show you the way to both ghost towns. It's only been 5 years since Rajneeshpuram became a ghost town. But by looking at the marble monument beside the road, it might as well have been 50. The buildings are in better shape. They're protected on private property. In 1980, the Indian guru Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh and his followers created this place as an oasis at the foot of the Ochako Mountains. They built a city, complete with shops, motels, casinos, even their own security force. But today, there's no one guarding the gates. Rajneeshpuram is a ghost town, and it's still for sale. Della Maffett holds the only job in town. She's a caretaker. Maffett and her family are the only people who now live here. It feels strange to be here.
At first I felt that way when I came down here, and it was really eerie, very eerie. But I've been here enough now that it doesn't seem that way to me anymore.
People who feared the commune are drawn here by curiosity. Those who loved it return to consider what might have been.
Many of them cry when they come. They feel really bad because they've lost their heart and soul here and some of their worldly possessions. And they meditate. They'll sit and with their hands folded, contemplate, I guess, the past.
But this is one ghost town many others are not very anxious to see put back on a map. "20 miles north is Highway 97. 1,100 trucks a day use this route to get from Canada to Southern California and back again. On their way, they drive through the town of Shaniko. 90 years ago, Shaniko was a major transportation hub in its own right. Today, just a handful of people live here, including Mayor Gene Farrell.
We do get a lot of the old railroad people that worked in here back in the early days. Some of the cattlemen, of course, most of them are all gone now, but there's a few of them still around that come up.
A few of the original buildings are still standing, and people like Farrell are here to make sure they stay that way.
And so much history is being torn down today. It's destroyed, gone. When it's gone, it's gone. Just like some of the old timers, talking to them, and they they wish that Dad would have wrote down stuff, you know, because when he died, all the history he had was gone. And that's the same place this is here. If it's torn down and gone, all the history's gone. You can't ever bring it back.
So for the past 5 years, Gene has been working to save what is now the Shaniko Hotel. Restoring the place has been hard work and very expensive, and it shows. Will you ever get your money out of this hotel?
No, don't figure on it. Don't figure on it. Did it for the fun of it and the joy of doing it. Like saying, saving a piece of history. For money, you ain't gonna take a dime with you anyway. And this will be here long after I'm gone. They can spend the money, but this they can't spend.
"5,000 people lived in Shaniko at the turn of the century. Sheep ranchers from Central Oregon brought their wool to the railhead in Shaniko to be shipped to markets all over the world.
I'd just like to get back here when all the railroad guys and the cattlemen and sheepmen and the ranchers and all get in here at one time. It would really be neat. I wouldn't want to be out in the middle of them because it might be a free-for-all, but I bet there'd be a lot of stories.
In 1911, the railroad built its new main line through Bend, bypassing Shaniko. Later that year, fire destroyed most of the buildings in town. Many simply walked away. Only 30 live here nowadays.
I came into town And I told my son at the time, I says, you know, this is the place I want to be.
Ron Owens is Shanaco's newest dreamer. He just bought the old wool shed.
See, they stored the wool in here, and all this lanolin from the wool just preserved all this wood.
By next year, he hopes to put a mall, saloon, and a museum in the building. Owens says he was born too late, but born a romantic.
I would really like to have lived here, or at least like to seen how it was. Maybe I wouldn't want to live here, but I would like to really, I'd like to go back a lot of years and see what I missed.
It's been a lot of years since any children have studied in the old schoolhouse. Ghost towns don't attract many families. You give up a lot of convenience to find this kind of solitude, but that's no loss for some.
You get up here and you got a lot of history, walk around and kind of daydream of what it was. I don't know, just a feeling of other people around you. That's kind of silly, I know. But it is, I know, at nighttime, evening time, everything is nice and quiet.
And if you would like more information on Oregon's ghost towns, there are several good books. You can pick them up at any used bookstore. In addition, AAA and the Oregon Tourism Bureau have this information available, and I'd recommend anybody go do it, because not only are the towns fascinating, like I wasn't into it, but the people you meet there are just the nicest people you